So on Saturday, I actually had a chance to test out a studio in King County, where I'm really hoping that I can find opportunities to do some more video work like this in the future. Now, in order to do a test like this, I actually just needed some content to film, so I suggested that we test out a standard kind of 3-camera interview format, and then since the 4 initiatives in Washington State right now are one of the biggest stories this election year locally, I was hoping that I could interview Brian Heywood, who's the prime sponsor of Let's Go Washington PAC, which is the group who's actually brought us these 4 initiatives, as well as the guy getting demonized by the billionaire-funded attack ads. Roughly $30 million in hostile ads in our state alone just so far. Now, I've interviewed Brian Heywood before over the years. You've seen his interviews if you've watched my videos before. Those previous interviews, I'm going to link to those down below so you can go check them out. And I hope to get this perspective right now on this campaign and these initiatives. Now, fortunately, everything worked out and I was able to get the interview. So feel free to share any clips from these videos which you actually find interesting with others. For those who actually want to see the behind the scenes kind of about this interview process, you can actually see the unedited version, which I failed to live stream. It was kind of my screw up on Saturday. It was my mistake. But you can actually see that there's no edits or teleprompters or even any notes there when you watch the whole thing. However, for easier viewing by you and for easier sharing with others, I have broken this interview into 6 different distinct clips. All are also linked down below if you want to view those afterwards. Now, the following video is a segment where I interview Brian Heywood, prime sponsor of Let's Go Washington, about his overview of the whole Let's Go Washington Vote Yes, Pay Less campaign so far this year. So for many people who are driving around Washington State, they are seeing signs like this that say Vote Yes, Pay Less, and they're wondering, what exactly is it about? And with me in the studio today is Brian Heywood, the guy who has sponsored Let's Go Washington, who is responsible for 4 initiatives now that are going to be on the ballot in November. And Brian, just for our viewers, if you could just give them a basic overview of why they're seeing these signs everywhere and why, if they got their ballot, and they might have in the last couple days, what those first 4 initiatives are all about. We'll get into more detail on them later, but let's just give us an overview.
You bet. Probably the one that's bringing the most attention is 2117, which is a repeal of the Carbon Commitment Act. And I think this was, when we first started, I thought that might be a well-intentioned bill trying to do something environmentally friendly, but the more we've dug into it, the more it's clear that this is basically a money grift by Jay Inslee and Olympia to take money off the backs of commuters with a hidden gas tax, essentially. So it's a repeal of that hidden gas tax, which impacts your groceries, it impacts your heating, and it impacts you at the pump. So this is repealing that carbon tax, the carbon auction mechanism that they've set up that just takes money from you in a hidden way. It was so egregious they had to sort of hide it, right? And that way you didn't know, and they could pretend like, oh, we don't know if it's going to impact you or not. So that's the first one, 2117, repeal the carbon tax. And the repeal, one of the interesting mechanisms here is you vote yes on each of these to get rid of the bad thing, right?
Right.
So vote yes, pay less. We've made that our motto because each one of these is somehow a tax on you. It costs you money somewhere in your life. So vote yes, pay less. The second one is the 2124, and this one is not necessarily a repeal, but it's 2124 allows people to either opt in or opt out of the Washington CARES Act. And we can go into that in a lot more detail, but the Washington CARES Act sounds like a great thing. Oh, well, that, who would be opposed to that? And we're not trying to destroy it. We're simply giving you an option to get in or out of it. But it's supposed to be a long-term CARES. That's how they originally called it. It's $36,000 capped lifetime benefit, which is 2 to 5 months max for someone who needs long-term care. And it's run all the other long-term care options out of business essentially because the state is sponsoring this thing. So it's reduced choice, it's trapped people in it. A group of about 500,000 people were originally exempted from it. And then everyone else is trapped. And so this basically says if you got out early and you want to get back in, you can get in. If you're trapped in it and you don't want to be paying it, you can get out. The 21, let's see, what's the next one? 2109 is the capital gains tax. And this is There's sort of two parts to this. One is I believe that capital gains tax is something, not having a capital gains tax is one of the reasons that this state has been so blessed economically. We have been a beacon and a mecca for businesses to come in and set up here and to draw entrepreneurs from all over the world coming into our economy, and really has made Washington State vibrant. And immediately when they implemented the capital gains tax, those that were going to be affected by it first moved out. Right. And the revenue has already come down, and the intention on this is the second part. This is really an attempt by the legislature. They've tried 10 times at the ballot to get an income tax. That's been rejected, rejected, rejected. This is a backdoor attempt to get an income tax by sort of using the envy of the rich to sneak it in. And then the fourth one is the 2066. Right. And this is just a proactive, straight up stopping the state from banning natural gas. Right. And the state has sort of pun intended, they've gaslit multiple times saying, no, there is no natural gas ban. But there's a building code commission implemented a natural gas ban on new construction. Right. It's in the plan. They have to do it at some point with some of the ridiculous goals and the timing that they've set. So there will be a natural gas ban unless 2066 is passed, in which case there won't be a natural gas ban. Right. And it's a protection of your choice. And it doesn't mean you have to use natural gas, really. Right. If you want to go all electric, knock yourself out. We really are looking at energy choice is the key driver here. So natural gas, you want to do, if you've got some kind of hydrogen technology in your house, that's fine too, but don't take natural gas away.
Now, all four of these are associated with Let's Go Washington. 3 of them were clearly launched as initiatives of the legislature, and now they're on the ballot because the legislature decided that they didn't want to vote for those. And then the fourth one, which is the natural gas one you just spoke about, that one's an initiative to the people. And all of these Let's Go Washington has sponsored. This has been a long process for you.
It has. We've been doing it. Well, we started really 2 years ago in 2022. Right. Just sort of trying to understand the system when we ran 11 initiatives. We didn't collect enough signatures, but we learned a huge amount about how the process works and what doesn't work. And one of the big things was that if you have to get 400,000 for either initiative to the people or to the legislature, you need over 400,000 signatures. And no volunteer organization in the state has the capacity to get the sheet of paper to be signed in front of that many people. You need a huge volunteer army, and on top of that, we needed to bring in some paid signature gatherers just to get the distribution far enough in the state that people could see it.
And essentially, this is the first time in state history, I do talk about the overall issue here is that this is the first time in state history, I think, where we've seen this many consequential initiatives on the ballot simultaneously.
I think it's not only is it first in history in the state, it's first in history in the nation to do this many initiatives. Because remember, we got 3 initiatives that have already been passed by the legislature.
That's right.
So we've done a total of 7 within just coming up on a year period now. So.
That's right. Yeah, just within the last year. I mean, it's very consequential. It's very significant. And I know I get questions from people all around the state saying, I just got these initiatives, what should I do? And what's your message to people out there who just got their ballot and they're wondering what to do about these initiatives?
Vote yes, pay less, right? That's the
it's an easy thing to remember. Yeah,
I think that's I would strongly encourage people to get informed. Right. You should know what you're voting for. I believe you shouldn't just do things knee flexed ideologically. So they can go to our website, and we have, and that's letsgowa.com. Letsgowa.com. No apostrophe, just letsgowa.com. And we have several. We've got several educational videos, anywhere from 6 to 10 minutes for each of the initiatives, and it gives you a pretty good history of how the law that we're sort of addressing came to be, what the problems are with that law, and why they should vote for the initiative to essentially get rid of some of these really I think, stupid things that have come out of Olympia.
And I did see those videos. I thought they were really good. I like the animation that's used there. That's a great way for people at least to get the other side of the story, because right now they're getting about $20 million worth of ads paid for by big companies and billionaires attacking you and attacking the initiatives all around the state. And I think we'll get into maybe a discussion about some of these initiatives in a little bit more detail.